Well, we've had some creepy ass goings on in our house in the last 24 hours. So I started messing around with that spirit box thing again.
Oh, well, you've brought it upon yourself.
Well, the strange thing is, it's whatever it is or whoever it is has decided that maybe they don't really want to use the spirit box. They want to communicate in other ways.
Yeah.
So I put it on the other night, and well, I say the other night, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, as you do. And it started coming up with I said, like, you know, if there's anyone there, you can communicate through this, blah blah blah. And it came up with the name Aaron. And I was like, I don't really know any Aarons. I mean, I know a couple, but not to speak to. And I thought, unknown to me. And then it said, desolate on bridge.
Oh.
On a bridge. And it said, used a chisel. And I was like, what? And they said, shattered rib, galled, as in GALLED.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And then they said, disappointed. And
Wasn't quite what I'd wanted.
It's not what I had in mind when I went to the bridge.
Yeah. Getting galled.
Yeah. By a used chisel. And I thought, okay. And then I started thinking, okay, well, I've got work in the morning, so I need to go to sleep. So I said goodbye. Off I went to sleep. And then yesterday, me and Claire were both sitting in the lounge, and we was talking about various things. We've been watching this program that kind of instigated quite a big discussion about how we both felt about marriage, whether we kind of agreed with it, what we thought the sort of purposes were, the pluses, you know, the downside, all this. So we've been talking about like things like this over the last few like days. So we were sitting on the sofa and we were having this conversation, and then all of a sudden the Alexa pipes up and says, "Hi, puppy." We both went, "What?"
No, thank you, Alexa.
Yeah. So we're both sitting on the sofa. Puppy's sitting like laid out on the floor, sort of in front of the sofa, which makes it impossible to get up off the sofa. So she's sitting there. So Puppy sits up and looks at the Alexa. And then the Alexa starts playing like classical music. And Puppy's like, she lays back and she like stretches out and that, and she's looking quite content with this music. I said to Claire, the hell's that about? Why and how is Alexa saying hello to Puppy? How does she know like our dog's name? Why has she just randomly said hi to her and then started playing her music? And then as we're sitting there, there's an almighty crash in the kitchen that sounds like someone's dropped something in the sink. On top of it, there was a couple of cups and plates that were sort of drying in the sink. Yeah, almighty crash in the kitchen. So we've both jumped up, gone in the kitchen, nothing out of place, nothing broken. The plates that were in the sink weren't touched, moved, nothing. They were still propped up, drying. I turned to Claire and I was like, what the bloody hell was that? She was like, oh, something weird's going on. Like, what was with the Alexa, this noise?
Yeah.
We're like, don't know. So grabbed our coffees, went back and sat in the lounge, carried on having our chat. And then upstairs, literally over our head, which is our bedroom, we heard two almighty crashes. And it sounded like someone was, I don't know, it sounded like someone had fallen on the floor in our bedroom right over our head, but twice. It's like, Jesus Christ, what the hell was that? as that happened, we've both sat there and we're both like looking at the ceiling, almost like expecting someone to come flying through the ceiling. As it did, on the Alexa that had been playing classical music, we heard da 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 da. And
my God.
I looked at the Alexa and I was like, are you fucking serious? Why is she playing the wedding march?
Yeah.
When we're sitting talking about like how we both feel about marriage, and I was like, what the hell is going on? It was so weird. Yeah. And then there was like a couple of other things that happened that I can't even remember, but it was a real weird day for it yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what the other thing was. So Claire popped to the gym and she heard bang, 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 bang. And she thought, the hell's that? So she kind of stopped and like put her phone down and that. Went out to the main like lobby bit and she was standing there. As she was standing there, Wes came downstairs and said, were you like locked in the gym or something? Like, why were you
What was
banging?
the banging?
Yeah. And she said, no, I came out of the gym because I wondered what the banging was. As they're standing there, bang, 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 bang on the door. Claire's opened like the front door. No one there. And this is like a sort of a wooden door that's the front of like the sort of complex. It's a wooden door with two big glass panels, and there's glass panels either side. They're like frosted glass, but you can see if someone's standing.
Yeah, like shadowy.
Yeah. No one there. And then Wes went, oh my God, pointed down at her feet. Claire's looked down. There's a flipping crow.
Oh.
Standing there.
Oh my God.
And she was like, oh my God. And as the crow's standing there, it's going bang, 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 bang with its beak on the glass. And she was like, oh my God, why is it doing that? So weird. And then like she said, oh, like there's too many weird things going on. I'm gonna have to like look this up. So she looked it up and then she went, oh, I just heard her go, I wished I hadn't looked that up. I was like, why? What does it mean? She said, oh, it's something like when birds appear or crows appear and things like that, it can be like a warning sign.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then when we heard that crash in the kitchen, I went out there because Claire hadn't told me this, and she went, oh, it's not a crow, is it? And I'm standing in the kitchen trying to see it, and I went,
why would it be a crow?
Why would it be a crow like that? And she was like, oh, I meant to tell you. And she told me this story, and I was like, that's so weird. When we were looking at what had made the noise in the kitchen, I looked up, little fat Robin sitting at the window, looking straight at me and Claire like that.
Yeah, but robins are cute though.
Oh, I know. I like to think that that's my version of like a scary, like sinister crow is like a little tiny cute fat robin. He was completely round, sitting there like that, and I was like, yeah, that's my version.
Yeah. Morning.
Happy 30th episode.
Yeah, buzzing.
Yay!
30 episodes. That's gone so quickly as well, isn't it?
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Still doing it. Still here.
Yeah. And that's because of you guys as well for supporting us. Yeah, for you. That's because of you, Kate. That's just because of you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
No, honestly, thank you guys for supporting us. We've got to 30 episodes, which is great, because when I find a new podcast that I love to listen to, it makes me so happy to see that they've got like loads of episodes that I can binge on. I love that.
I was thinking that this morning. One of the podcasts that I listen to, which I absolutely love, I remember finding them and then looking to see, and they'd already been going like years.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. And there was episode after episode after episode, and I was thinking, oh, that's so good, because then I can just, when I've got 4 or 5 hours in the car, I can just binge listen. I love that.
And we have had a lot of new listeners recently, so if you are just joining us, welcome aboard.
Hi.
If you have been with us from the very start,
hi,
thank you dearly.
And thank you.
And thank you. We have another new subscriber, Renee. Thank you so
Renee.
Thank you so much.
Renee's gifted to us before, hasn't she?
Yes, yeah. Yes, thank you for your support.
Renee.
Yes.
That's so lovely.
Yeah. So this for our 30th episode, I'm doing something a little bit different than I say that every time, and that's just because every episode is something different, but that's a good thing.
I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to put that in with all my and your nose
and yawns
and your yawns, and this episode's going to be a little bit different.
The good thing about the show is that it covers such a variety of things. It's called Perplexed because they're all about things that are perplexing and like baffling. And this one is I've called it the Muffin Man,
which created a whole day yesterday of me singing the Muffin Man.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
We're gonna get sued because of that.
That was my own version. It's not nearly Adam Lambert quality. So today I am going to tell you the origin stories of some of the most popular children's nursery rhymes.
Ooh, I love that.
And this is a warning, everybody. Trigger warning, everybody. You will never listen to these nursery rhymes the same. Ever.
Not sure I do anymore.
Nope. Because they're just nursery rhymes and you sing them like nonsensically. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm using it. Nonsensically. You just sing them, don't you? They don't have any meaning.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't walk around singing nursery rhymes. What's wrong with you?
Well, you should. It's like the hymns that you used to sing in primary school. You used to sit cross-legged on the floor singing hymns, and they don't really have much meaning, do they? You just sing the words.
No.
So it's the same with the
No, for years my sister thought that, the nursery rhyme, not the nursery rhyme, the hymn that says, I am the Lord of the dance.
Oh, I am the Lord of the dance, said he.
That's it. Tess always used to say to my mum, what's a dance settee? Because she always thought that that's what it was.
Not said he.
No, not said he. It was the dance settee. I am the Lord of the dance settee.
Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Do you remember?
It's instigating rage in me.
I always remember
I hated it.
Like, he was cold, he was naked, were you there? That's like, do you not remember that one? I always remember that because you used to, as a
I didn't used to sing. I've never been into like singing or anything like that.
I love to sing. I can't sing, but you're going to hear me sing all these nursery rhymes.
Oh, okay.
So you're welcome.
And then I'll hear it all again when I have to edit the episode.
Absolutely.
Oh well, the spirit box has just said bloomers. Bloomers. So they're knickers to you.
Yep. So the origin stories, the origin of these stories date back mostly to like the 1600s.
Ooh.
So they go back a very long, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So factually, there isn't much evidence of these things. It's just like they've changed hands throughout the years. Most of them were first published in like the 1800s. Because a lot of these, don't forget, weren't nursery rhymes when they were created.
Right.
They were just created as rhymes. Most of the rhymes actually are about the nobles in the 1600s, and they were actually created as a way to kind of mock the nobles, tell stories about the nobles, but in a way that was cryptic and wouldn't get them beheaded. So
clever.
it was made into this sort of cryptic rhyme to be passed about, I guess, almost like gossip.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of been passed down generation to generation to generation. It's kind of lost all meaning. But they were then turned into nursery rhymes that you tell babies. So a lot of them were first documented in I think it's like a Mother Goose book or something in the 1800s. So a lot of these stories are incredibly dark, the origins of these, which is crazy because as a child singing some of these nursery rhymes, I remember like joyous occasions. Do you remember like
you
London?
sound about 80. Oh, such a joyous occasion.
Such great memories. Do you remember singing London Bridge is Burning Down? And I had forgotten about this until I started like singing it. And you've got your arms up and you're holding a bridge with all your buddies. And then there's like people running through under the bridge. And then all of a sudden the bridge collapses and you have to trap everybody.
That's
and if
horrendous.
I
don't think I did that, to be honest.
You've missed out then.
I had like a little music box thing, and you used to wind it, and it used to play "London Bridge is Burning Down."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like a little record. No, it was a little television.
Oh God!
It was a little television thing, and you wound the thing, and it like rotated a little picture so that it looked like there was a picture, and it had London Bridge on it, and it would play "London Bridge is Burning Down."
But even that, why do we sing that? London Bridge is Burning Down.
It's like you said,
not a happy song to sing.
We don't think about it, do we? We don't think about why we do these things. We just do, and it's pretty horrible actually. Now you brought it to the forefront.
Oh, thank you. So today I am going to destroy some of your favourites.
Lovely. That's what I was hoping you were going to do.
So the first one I'm going to start with is the Muffin Man.
Do you know the Muffin?
And some of you are going to be going, the Muffin Man?
The Muffin
Man. Because it's from Shrek. Everybody loves that. The rhyme goes, do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? And then the next person would go, yes, I know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Yes, I know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane. And then you basically go through each person until everybody's done. And you'd be like,
everyone has to know the Muffin Man.
Everybody has to know the Muffin Man.
Okay.
And you'll see why. So between 1589 and 1598, Frederick Thomas Linwood became known as the infamous Muffin Man who lived on Drury Lane. And the story goes that Linwood's father was a baker. So he owned a bakery on Drury Lane. And baking back then was a hard graft. It was like 12-hour days. And
it's now for like individual bakers, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really long. And they would only get Sundays off. But even then, Sundays weren't really off because they would have to go in and prepare the bread for the Monday. And it was said that Frederick's father was an incredibly cruel man, and he would beat him often. And I know back in the 1500s, he probably wasn't considered as child abuse then. It was considered as discipline.
Yes.
But it to today's standards, it would have been horrific child abuse. So he'd beat him and he'd starve him. And he would deprive him of most things that other children had in those times. So this turned Frederick from a sweet little boy into England's earliest documented serial killer.
Oh.
Or so some might say. I haven't been able to find the fact that he was the earliest documented serial killer because he came before Jack the Ripper. But there is a lot of information on him on the internet. So the tale goes that when Frederick's father died, he took over the bakery and he would lure children with a muffin on a string down the cobblestone streets of London and into his bakery, where he would then murder them.
Oh.
And he would also murder rival bakers too. So I think he's something like his kill count was something like 22 or something like that. So he murdered around 15 children and 7 rival bakers.
Blimey.
All in that time. And he was never caught, but he did die in 1598 by choking on a dumpling. So the story goes.
I reckon that's how I'll go.
Choking on a dumpling.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go, there's no other way. So the song was created to warn children to stay away from the Muffin Man. So the reason it was, do you know the Muffin Man? And everybody would then pass it on. Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man? And it was to spread the word to as many children as possible.
I mean, they could have put a little bit more warning in there. Because
you know the Muffin Man, the one that kills all the children.
Yes.
He owns the bakery down the road.
Yeah, stay away or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the origin of the Muffin Man.
That's crazy. I never knew.
Horrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horrifying. And so the next one I'm going to do is the mulberry bush. Do you remember
here
that
we go
song?
around the mulberry bush.
Yep.
Mulberry bush.
So I will sing it. I won't sing it to you. I will rap it to you.
Brilliant.
I won't do that. I won't put everybody through that. So the nursery rhyme goes, here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. And then the next bit goes, this is the way we wash our face, wash our face, wash our face. This is the way we wash our face on a cold and frosty morning. And then it goes on and on and on. It's like, this is the way we brush our hair. And then this is the way we tie our shoes. And it goes on. So I don't know about you. I can't imagine you as a little girl frolicking around the mulberry bush, holding hands with all your pals, singing this song.
Regularly was found round the mulberry bush washing my face.
Okay. What I found out from this was that mulberries don't grow on bushes.
Oh.
They grow on trees.
Ooh.
But it's not a huge tree, so it could be mistaken as a bush, but it is a tree.
Okay.
So built in 1594, Wakefield Prison, a Category A jail housing some of Britain's most notorious criminals, is the largest high security prison in the United Kingdom and Western Europe. It's housed several high-profile murderers, including Harold Shipman, who is Britain's most prolific serial killer. And Wakefield Prison is actually nicknamed Monster Mansion.
Oh.
Because of the type of prisoners that it houses. It's a maximum security prison. So according to a former prison guard there, this is where the nursery rhyme originated. So during this time, sort of 1594 onwards, they housed female inmates. And when housing female inmates, it wasn't uncommon for their children to be in with them during their prison term. Yes. And this was either due to pregnant women being incarcerated and then having their babies in prison, or women that had just had babies that couldn't be separated from them, that would also go into the prison with them. So for their daily exercise regime, they were forced to walk around the mulberry bush. So for hours on end to walk around the mulberry bush, and that would be their exercise. But of course they would take their children with them. So the song was created as a way to entertain the children on the walk around the mulberry bush.
Oh God.
As I said, the mulberry bush, it wasn't a bush, it was actually a tree. And the mulberry tree in Wakefield Prison, it has been there since 1594, and it actually died in 2019.
Oh no.
Due to a beetle infestation. And it was all over the BBC News. It was a massive deal that this tree had actually died. I don't know where you were at this time, but do you not remember?
No.
No, when I looked it up, it was all over the BBC.
I am bad with watching like the news. I don't really listen to the radio.
No.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear about mulberry trees that have died.
No. If there's an apocalypse, I will know and I will be ready, and that's all I need to know.
So basically what they'd done in the 80s, they'd taken a clipping of this mulberry tree to grow like a sapling, and they basically took out this original mulberry tree and planted a new one. So there is still a mulberry tree there.
Oh, good. From the original tree as well.
From the original tree, yeah.
Oh,
and the prison crest is also that of a mulberry tree. So the origin of this story has some quite factual information.
Yeah.
It seems quite plausible that is generally where the story originated.
Yeah, that's creepy though, isn't it? Like kids,
they're just singing
being
about
in
maximum...
prison.
Yeah.
And they chose that song to kind of lighten the mood a little bit.
Here we go round the mulberry bush, but you can
for
see
the
it happening
700th time.
every fucking day.
Every fucking time.
But it's quite an educational song as well. This is the way we wash our face. And so they're teaching their children as they're going around this mulberry bush.
Yeah.
The next one I'm going to do was actually it's actually really interesting, and it's the Mary Mary Quite Contrary.
Oh, how does your garden grow?
Exactly. So it's the rhyme goes, Mary Mary Quite Contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells, all pretty maids out and pretty maids all in a row. So where do you think this one originated from?
I don't know. I mean, I would see it as a, like, you know, someone that lived in a nice little cottage and, you know, put the seashells round the plant border and things like that. I can't see anything sinister from that.
So the oldest known version was first published in Tom Thumb's Pretty Songbook in 1744. And the lyrics there are somewhat different. And the lyrics are, Mistress Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells, and so my garden grows. So ever so slightly different. And like I say, a lot of these have changed lyrics, and in different countries as well, some of the lyrics are different. But some historians believe that it's actually a tale of how Queen Mary I tortured and murdered Protestants in an attempt to reverse the Reformation.
Goodness.
And for those of you that have just heard the word Reformation and have no idea what it is, or like I did, had no idea what it was. The English Reformation began when Henry VIII, when he was king, he wanted to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. So instead of beheading, or, you know, he actually wanted to annul his marriage. But obviously during the Catholic era, that was not allowed. So the Catholic Church forbade the annulment of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon. So as a consequence,
using all these fancy words, forbade.
Thanks.
Someone ate a dictionary.
I did. I learned so much yesterday when I was doing this.
You've had a hard day of learning.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
That's why I keep getting nosebleeds today, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, just used my brain too much yesterday.
Your brain's like getting bigger and bigger, and it's forcing all that out.
It's like so much sense. So as a consequence, King Henry VIII, he left the Catholic Church and he founded the Protestant Church of England. So Queen Mary I, who is the daughter of King Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon.
Right.
Other people may know her as Bloody Mary. She was born in 1516, and she was a devout Catholic. And when she ascended the throne, so before that it was Edward V, I think, which was her brother. So when he died, Queen Mary I ascended the throne, and she restored the Catholic faith to England. And how she did that was what gained her the name Bloody Mary, because she burned scores of Protestants at the stake. There's at least 284.
God, that's a lot, isn't it?
There is an entire Wikipedia page that lists all of the 284 Protestants that were burned at the stake.
Jeez.
So
just because of their religion?
Yeah, because they weren't Catholic and they were Protestants. So it is thought that the first line, Mary, Mary, or Mistress Mary, quite contrary, refers to Mary's contrarian decision to reverse her half-brother, Edward V's Protestant reign and restore Roman Catholicism to England. So that's why it was contrary. The second line, how does your garden grow, is thought to be about the Protestant graveyards. So all the Protestant that she burned in the garden area and made a graveyard. So it's how does your garden grow is thought to be about the fact that it was growing larger and larger and larger, this Protestant graveyard. And not only did Mary burn Protestants at the stake, she also enjoyed torturing them. Silver bells and cockle shells are medieval torture devices.
I didn't know that.
So silver bells are a nickname for thumbscrews.
Yeah, I know what they are.
Yep. And cockle shells are a reference to a particularly nasty torture device.
Is it to do with your cockle?
It's to do with the cockle. It is. And it would be used on the private parts of Protestant prisoners.
Goodness.
On the Dinkle area.
On the Dinkle area?
Yes.
That's what I call my dog, Dinkle.
Oh, don't do that.
It's not on your area. She's gone.
She's gone. She was like, oh, that's what it means.
She's like, what? Get away from my Dinkle.
Yep.
Oh, so they had their thumbs and their cockles
screwed. Absolutely. But it's so like Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells, and so my garden grows. If you just take that at face value, what does that even mean? How does your garden grow with silver bells and cockle shells? That doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, and our sort of more modern version says, and pretty maids all in a row. I wonder if that's a row of people that she's going to burn at the stake.
Well, that's what people have suggests.
Yeah, I would have no idea that that's what that nursery rhyme had been put together about. No idea.
Until now. So the next one, 3 blind mice. You remember that one?
Yeah, but I can't see how that would be sinister. And is it something to do with the plague?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No. So the nursery rhyme goes, 3 blind mice, see how they run, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? So the first written variation of 3 blind mice dates back from 1609.
Oh.
And is actually another story of a Queen Mary I, of Bloody Mary, England's very own sociopath.
Yeah, that really was a lot about the nobles.
Yep. So her attempt to make England Catholic again was obviously opposed by all the Protestants and the Protestant nobles and things like that. And they were sort of plotting against her. And she wasn't a very nice person.
No.
She's not a great lady. So where it says they all ran after the farmer's wife, it's thought that the farmer's wife is a reference to Mary because she married Philip II of Spain, who owned a huge expanse of land. And so she became known as farmer's wife. And the mice are supposedly the Protestant bishops Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Ridley, and the Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Cranmer. They are supposedly the 3 blind mice because they were caught. I think they were they were 3 people that were plotting against her. They were caught, tortured and blinded and then burned at the stake for blindly following Protestant learnings rather than the Catholic ones that she preached.
Wow.
So
that makes perfect sense when you explain it. You think, yep.
Oh, but it's scary, isn't it? Why are these?
Yeah.
It's just something that we tell our children. It's
creepy, isn't
crazy.
it?
Yep. Well, this one's just as creepy. And it's Little Miss Muffet. And do you remember Little Miss Muffet?
Yeah, sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Down came a bider, sat down beside her.
Miss Muffet away.
Tuffet away, yeah.
Yeah. So I will read the nursery rhyme if that's okay, because you've done a fantastic job then. But it's Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. There came a big spider who sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. So this is supposedly the true story of Patience Muffet. Okay. However, the history books write more about her father than they do about her. So Dr. Thomas Muffet, he lived between 1553 and 1604. And he was actually a medical doctor. And he was fascinated by the world of insects and spiders. And he believed that it was a subject that people hadn't really studied up on much at that time. So he actually wrote 2 books. And the books that he wrote are called The Silkworms and Their Flies and The Theatre of Insects and Lesser Living Creatures.
Oh.
So he had an obsession with finding out about insects and what they could do for people. So in those days, it was actually thought that spiders could help cure illness. So some people used to wear a spider in a nutshell when they had a higher temperature. And it was also believed that swallowing a spider wrapped in a ball of butter would help them get better.
Nope, I'd rather die of some horrible illness.
Yep. Swallowing a spider wrapped in a ball of butter. Nope.
Nope.
So it's
can't stand butter.
Yeah. Get a spider down.
Get a spider down you.
Butter. Bleh. So it's thought that Dr. Muffet was interested in finding out whether spiders could cure the common cold.
Oh.
And it is believed that Dr. Muffet would crush up spiders and feed them to his patients and also his daughter, Patience. Which, yeah.
Feed him to his patients.
Patience and his daughter,
and
Patience.
His patients.
Yes. Who had no patience.
No.
With his nonsense.
Goodness.
So it's the nursery rhyme is Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. So
sorry, can you do that bit again? Because it cut out and it sounded like you said
Little Miss eating a muffet.
Little Miss Fuck It.
So the nursery rhyme, Little Miss Muffet, is Patience, and she's sat on a tuffet, and who knows what a tuffet is, but I think it's probably a breakfast stool. And she's eating her breakfast.
Some kind of like fungusy stool, I think.
Yeah. Eating her curds and whey. So curds are what?
It's like
comes out of the before cheese type.
Yes, yeah.
Not quite milk, not quite cheese.
Yeah.
And whey is just a
disgusting
way. Just a disgusting liquid. So it's like she's sitting at having her breakfast.
I like that description. And the whey is just a disgusting liquid.
I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like a rank, cheesy fluid.
Yeah, but it was full of like fats and things, wasn't it? So
yeah.
I mean, they still make it.
Yeah, not really it's like, you know, when you get a bowl of mozzarella and it's in that juice.
Yeah, well, you don't drink that.
I do. I have it with my curds, actually, and my jar of spiders.
Yeah.
Crushed up.
So what are you having for breakfast? Whey!
What else?
Yeah.
So that is apparently the origins of Little Miss Muffet. And this next one was really, really interesting, actually. And I don't know if you remember it, but it's This Old Man.
This old man. He played too. He played knick-knack on my shoe with
That's
a knick-knack
exactly
paddywhack, give a dog
Give
a
a dog a bone. This right,
Oh,
so the nursery rhyme goes, this old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on my thumb with a knick-knack paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. And then it goes on to say, this old man, played 2. He played knick-knack on my shoe. And then it says, this old man played 3. He played knick-knack on my knee. And then it goes on and on and on. So it's a great nursery rhyme for children in terms of numbers and counting. And that's how it is portrayed to children.
Yeah, I like the bit about the dog.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Like it.
So it turns out that this popular nursery rhyme is about the English hating on poor Irish people during the potato famine.
Right.
So the staple food of the Irish was the potato. But however, in 1845, the potato crop failed. And the resulting famine led to a 25% fall in the Irish population from deaths and immigration. So people were starving to death because there are no potatoes.
No potatoes.
No potatoes. So there's a lot of sources that say that this old man refers to the influx of Irish beggars going door to door in England after the famine. So most Irishmen became tinkers, selling pots and pans and cutlery and other knickknacks door to door.
I had a friend that was a tinker when I was little.
That's cool.
Yeah. He was cool. I mean, I called him Tinker. But he
little
was,
tinker.
Yeah, little tinker.
So the old man may also have played knick-knack using spoons. My granddad used to do it on his knee. You know, you play the spoons. So knick-knack is actually like a song, like a tune that they would play on objects, just any objects that they had, just hoping for people to give them money. So they would go door to door trying to either sell their knickknacks or play in this tune, just hoping to get some money. And the fact that the rhyme goes on and on and on and on about how they're playing knick-knack on anything is goes to show the desperation of the Irish beggars and how desperate they were to do anything they could for money. And the English people at the time, would see the Irish starving on the streets, but happily give a dog a bone and nothing to the Irish. Because for whatever reason, the English hate the Irish. Hated.
Yeah.
And that's how is how it was depicted during that time. And whether it's because the Irish came over as immigrants, the English then hated the Irish.
There's just always that, though, isn't there? It's anything different, and you know, everyone gets all precious about, don't come over here, and yeah,
exactly that. So the paddywhack is a derogatory term for literally hitting an Irish person.
Oh, as in paddy?
Paddy, like an Irish, or like
Whack.
a paddy. Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. And
the Irish... I do not like that.
Nope. So the Irish tinkers traditionally lived in a caravan on wheels that was pulled by a horse. And hence the term at the bottom, this old man came rolling home.
Oh, yeah.
Because they used to live in caravans on wheels. But that, I remember Hayley listening to that. If you, like, when Hayley was little, she used to love watching baby TV, and they played all of these nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
One after the other, but actually listening
they're
to
horrible reasons
they're horrible,
why they came about. Yeah.
I know. Jeez. And there's so many better ways that we could teach our children how to, like, numbers and things.
Yeah.
Or just better songs in general. Let's come up with some nursery rhymes that are lovely.
Yeah. All right. Well,
we create one.
Yeah. Let's create one. We'll create a perplexed nursery rhyme.
It's going to be just as bad as all of these, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just as shocking.
But then we can choose who we aim it at.
Yes. So this is the last one, and it's Ring Around the Rosie. Alternatively, I used to call it Ring-a Roses.
Ring-a Roses.
Ring-a Roses.
Oh.
Ring-a Roses. That's how I used to call it.
Ring-a. Yeah, I did. Ring-a Roses.
But it's called Ring Around the Rosie.
A pocket full of posy.
Yep.
A tissue.
A tissue.
A tissue.
We all fall
We
down.
all fall down. I've got a vague memory about this.
Yeah, I think this is one that's kind of
I think this was
known.
maybe the only one that I thought was
about
like something
dark.
a little bit more dark. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually quite long, this nursery rhyme. So it's ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down. And the next line is, the king has sent his daughter to fetch a pail of water. A tissue, we all fall down.
Yeah.
The robin on the steeple is singing to the people. A tissue, we all fall down. So this well-known banger, absolute banger, is supposedly to have derived from the time of the Great Plague of London in 1665. So I looked up about the plague as well, because
I've read a lot about the plague. Maybe that's why I'm familiar with that, but
maybe.
Yeah.
So the plague of London in 1665 was the worst outbreak of the plague in England since it's started in 1348. And they had the whole Black Death saga in 1348. And London lost about 15% of its population. So about 68,000 deaths were recorded in the city, but the true number is supposedly to have been over 100,000 people.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that the plague started in 1347. It's thought to have claimed 25 million lives, which is crazy. So the Great Plague of London, 1665 to 1666, is generally the last that you hear of the plague. That was kind of the end of the pandemic. So it's believed that the ring around the rosy is a coded reference to the red circular rash common amongst plague victims. The posies were the flowers that people carried around with them. It either thought that they fended off the illness, or the plague doctors would stuff them in the end of their beak masks.
Because everything was stinking as well.
Everything stunk of death. So
piss.
They would chucked out the window. So obviously a tissue. You can guess what that means. Is people would generally fall ill in the plague. If you're walking about and someone sneezes, you go, "Oh shit, they've got the plague." Damn.
Well, they just tissued the plague into my face.
Oh gosh. So sneezing and coughing was quite common amongst plague symptoms. And we all fall down is quite a blatant meaning of death. Once you get the cough and the sneezes, then that's it. You're buggered.
Yeah.
So that is the so once you come down with the ring around the rosy, and you've got your pocket full of posies, and then you need your tissue, and then you fall down dead. Is the nursery rhyme that we sing to our children. But I do remember, you just used to skip in a circle. It's just such a happy time. You don't take any notice of
no
what it actually
all
means.
The children would sort of go, a tissue, and then everyone would fall down.
Yeah, and it was a great time.
Creepy, eh?
Yeah. So there are variations of the song. So I think in America they actually sing ashes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
We all fall down. Which could be a reference to the fact that they would burn the bodies of the dead, burn the plague victims and things.
Creepy.
Yeah, so it was.
I think maybe we should do an episode on the plague, and I certainly do want to cover Jack the Ripper, because
absolutely,
all these things. London's right on our doorstep.
Yeah. Have you done London Dungeons?
I have.
I really want to do it, but Josie won't go with me.
Oh, let's go together.
Go. All right.
Let's go together, and we'll do a pod about the London Dungeons.
Great idea.
Amazing. Because the last time I went, I think Lewis was I think Lewis was about 5, maybe. But he was just at that age where it was enough to freak him out a little bit. So I carried him the whole way.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, God. So, yeah, it was a little bit, a little bit difficult. But, yeah, the London dungeons are wicked.
Yeah.
So we should definitely do that. We should do that as a perplexed outing.
Yeah,
and we'll do some photos and some video.
Absolutely
do some
down for that.
live recording.
There's so much dark history surrounding London at those times, like London
Definitely
Bridge.
Yeah.
London Bridge is falling down, that one that we was talking about. I didn't write it up, but when I was researching, that is apparently about a really old medieval form of punishment, and I think it's called something like immersion or something like that. And it basically was they would bury people in the London Bridge and just leave them to die, and it was almost as like a sacrifice to
that's
people.
familiar.
Believed that they had to sacrifice people in order for the bridge not to fall down.
There's a bit in London as well where they would put heads on spikes, and I think that's by a bridge as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Gosh, there's so much there.
Yeah. No, let's do that. Let's do like a London episode, and then maybe we could also do a trip up there with Jack the Ripper thing as well, because
they did loads of Jack the Ripper tours and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, I did a really good Jack the Ripper tour with my mum like years ago, and it was just so good. It was so fascinating, and it was so weird to be able to stand there and look at the railings and think, like, I just remember thinking,
picturing it, if
I'd been stood in this exact spot however many years like ago,
hundreds of years,
Jack the Ripper would have been right here killing one of his victims right here, and me, obviously, if I'd been there.
You probably would have been the victim.
But
so that is the nursery rhymes that I've got so far, but there are
That's cool.
There are so many nursery rhymes that have a dark meaning to them, and these are just the ones that I picked out, but there are so many more.
And maybe we'll have to do like a part 2 in the future, where you do like another load of nursery rhymes.
If you know of any dark history ones or any variations to these ones, then let us know.
Yeah, definitely. That was cool, and I didn't know.
Didn't know, did you?
Any of those? No.
Blindly singing these.
Just singing it every day. Singing about the Muffin Man, and he's a child killer. I didn't know that.
Child serial killer.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Good episode. Good stories.
Thanks.
That was good. Like
it. If you have enjoyed listening to our episodes, make sure you rate us and leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening.
We absolutely love hearing from you guys. So you can also help support our show by donating to our Buy Me a Coffee link. We will make sure that you get a massive shout out and a big thank you in our next week's episode.
You can also follow us on social media at Perplexed Podcasts. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to see more videos and blooper reels, subscribe to our TikTok and YouTube channels.
You can also email us your stories at perplexedpodcasts@gmail.com.
And you can find all the relevant links in the episode descriptions. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Potato.
Oh, we've just offended so many people. Edit.
Cut that out. Listen.
Potato.
So.
Oopsie. Just lost 90% of our listeners.